A Christmas Carol must hold the record for the single most adapted piece of literature, usually performed by classical actors, but also by the Muppets, Smurfs, Mr. Magoo, and in a televised carry-on, where Sid James's Scrooge battled Dr. Frankenstein and Dracula. Aside from the Victorian set ones, there are scores of modern updates, like any one of the 500 yearly Lifetime versions, where Ebenezer's an evil cupcake magnate or summit. How then would ITV interpret the material for their Christmas 2000 extravaganza?
But they've had some strange ideas about breakfast through the years, so I've Kellogg's Fruit and Fibre brought instead.
Ross Kemp had been aggressively poached from the BBC with a 7-figure deal the previous year. A man so round and smooth, he seems entirely made from buttocks. Kemp was viewed as the franchise player around which to build their channel, though his early output was of a type. Ultimate Force as an SAS Hardman. Without Motive, a Hardman detective. In Defence, a Hardman barrister. Consequently, this pitch for A Christmas Carol is straight from Partridge's dictaphone, with Dickens' most famous creation reimagined as Council Estate loan shark and baldy hardman, Eddie Scrooge. This new take was hatched by Kemp himself, back in his days as a drama student in 1980s Peckham, while mucking out public toilets. Quote, "It was disgusting," unquote.
Farce.
Eddie Scrooge was the role he'd been dreaming of for 20 years, having pitched it to a BBC drama producer while still on EastEnders. When the producer jumped to ITV, they got a green light. And while he didn't pen the screenplay, Kemp wrote the initial treatment, describing the 90-minute TV movie in an interview at the time as the best thing I've ever done. The reason A Christmas Carol still resonates is because of its timeless message of hope, told through a simple structure and almost entirely occurring over a single night. Doesn't matter if it's the proper Victorian Scrooge, or set in the sewers with an anthropomorphised Ebenezer Poop voiced by Joe Pasquale. Stick to that structure and you can't miss. That's right, isn't it, Ross? Ross. It begins traditionally enough.
Silent night, holy night,
Right away we get into one of its notable additions, a central mystery involving the murder of Eddie's former business partner, Jacob Marley.
Eddie? Eddie!
Get used to him waking up, as half the running time features Ross Kemp gasping into frame like a great egg rearing down on you.
Called Chris Steele this morning. You're not too good, are you?
An introductory Christmas Eve walk among the community introduces a Kempmas Carol's urban brutalism, a council estate as seen in Sun articles about benefit scroungers and feral youths, every inch covered in graffiti, and with Dickens' urchins given a chav makeover. Scrooge himself lives in a grotty underpass, in a gloomy minimalist lair with a nuclear bunker aesthetic, like Desmond from Lost. The big man about town. He's a notorious moneylender, both taking advantage of and exacerbating the rampant poverty. As miserable, rotten Scrooges go, Eddie's up there with the greats.
Well, that's right, it's Christmas time, when the stupid and the bone idle join forces to celebrate the birth of catalogue shopping. You know what happy is? It's a painkiller for losers, and I ain't a loser.
He's accompanied on his shakedowns by Bob Cratchit, redrawn here as a snivelling accountant cum press agent, And of course, Dad to the sickly tiny Tim.
Well, Tim's in hospital again. I was thinking more of the whole day.
And I was thinking of inviting Britney Spears over for an eggnog.
We follow the pair making their rounds on Christmas Eve. First a single mother, whose telly he repossesses right in the middle of Raggy Dolls.
No cash, no telly.
Oh, come on, Mr. Scrooge, I'm only a bit behind.
That isn't how it works, Ellie.
Liz Smith and her husband.
£3.
It's £5, Joyce, like it always is.
All that hassle running round with Cratchit for a £5. He's not clearing minimum wage. We get a look at Kemp's interest rates when Ted, one of his regulars, asks for a loan of £700.
Yeah, only I was thinking of going to see my daughter in Australia one last time.
I can do £10 a week over 10 years, and I'm robbing myself.
But they say do a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
The magic of Christmas.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I'd get home quick if I was you and write a letter to Santa.
Is this one about 5p?
You all right there, love?
Are you all right?
Not that he's without problems, like Marley's murder.
I thought I told you to get rid of those.
Dirty homeless outside his bunker.
I want to go home. Big issue, mister.
Get a job. Oi, get out of it! Well, go on, get out of it!
And moping over an ex. In this version, his nephew's a copper investigating the Marley shooting.
I can't stop him on duty. I was just wondering if you're doing anything for Christmas Day.
No.
Oh, great, because well, that is Jane and me. We'd like you to come around for your dinner.
No.
So far, so Scrooge, including the bit where the door knocker usually turns into the face of Marley, the first sign of the supernatural. Here done with one of the posters.
Eddie.
In the original, Scrooge puts Marley's manifestation down to food poisoning, a hallucination due to some undigested beef. What's Kemp's excuse? It's just a packet of pork scratchings gone off.
Marley. Eddie. We need to talk.
There's been some great Marleys over the years. Alec Guinness's Ragged Spectre. John Forsyth with a mouse coming out of his head. But in this gritty adaptation, not even a ghostly ready Brett glow. Just a boring bloke in a football manager coat.
You are not here!
At least he's got chains.
You can't front me out. I'm deceased. Look. You're gonna get 3 visitors. I'll bake a cake.
First of 3 Spirits is a genuinely inspired piece of casting, with Alf Garnett as Kemp's dead dad, clambering out of the TV like in The Ring.
I'm the ghost of Christmas past.
Dad takes him on a tour of childhood trauma, failing to comfort young Eddie at his mum's funeral. Huge missed opportunity not to slap a bald wig on a child. And then always out boozing, leaving Eddie to look after his little sister. Good job they had Benny and pals for company.
I want Dad. If you go to sleep, then Dad will come. And that's where he's gone. That's where he goes every night, to Dad's school, to learn how to look after us.
We also learn how he met his ex, Bella. Viewer, are you sick of dating apps and struggling to meet women? Simply aggressively chase someone into a hospital.
Are you lost, love?
I was, but now I've found you.
But 1 year ago, His inherent Scroogeness and obsession with money pushed her away.
I hate what you do, and you know that. And you still won't change. And I can't live like that anymore.
And if things weren't bleak enough, he's spending Christmas Eve alone, watching Caprice on Ian Wright's awful chat show.
Dad?
Happy Christmas, everyone!
I've called a Christine this morning. Not too good.
Barring the murder stuff, it's a pretty faithful modern adaptation so far. But Kemp clearly went in the pitch meeting saying he wanted to do something like that Bill Murray film. No, not that one. This one.
2 days on the trot. Must be Christmas.
It is Christmassy.
I tell you, Bob, I don't know what old Rashid puts in that cider of his. I had a weird dream last night.
But Kempy's too hard to be bothered by a time loop, getting an even bigger laugh at the lady falling on the trees, and having a whale of a time hoying the TV again, before a wonderfully nonsensical threat to a big issue seller.
I'll big issue you from one end of the road to the other unless you get your bony ass off my step!
Promises, promises.
Well, come on, I'm ready!
Me too. Other than what a stone-cold banger it is, one thing that keeps me returning to new versions is seeing how they'll visually interpret the spirits. There's been some great Ghosts of Christmas Present, and how will ITV put their own stamp on it, letting creativity fly with Big Ron in a glowing green tracksuit, or perhaps an 8 feet tall Zach Dingle.
Hey! Cool it, Eddie.
Oh, it's Marley again. To compound the laziness, it's always amazing to see one of these in the wild.
It's showtime!
Of course, the risk with a Ghost of Christmas Present is they might make you watch your ex having sex with someone else.
All right. But I don't want to see Bella again. I'll go anywhere with you. But no more Bella.
A series of festive tableaux clunkily illustrate Eddie may be rich in fivers, but when it comes to love, he's wearing a barrel held up with braces. This lot haven't got a penny, but they've got each other. And what have you got? Not even hair!
Just fill their heads with broken promises. We've got nothing.
Ted unwraps a boomerang from his daughter, while Ross Kemp's nephew mourns another Christmas din-dins with an empty seat at the table.
Uncle Eddie.
If you must. Uncle Eddie.
I want to stay.
Darling.
Well, you should have come when Dave invited you then, shouldn't you?
Oh, be good to Daddy.
Meanwhile, poor Tiny Tim's wheezing in a hospital bed.
I think it's better having Christmas in hospital.
Father Christmas gave me one more thing.
Not this, was it?
So that's what comes from getting him overexcited.
Can't help but wonder what this guy's story is.
Bella!
2 minutes.
Oh, you're not still moping about Eddie Scrooge, are you?
Those homeless kids he shouted at earlier take the roles of want and ignorance from the book, but now they're very suddenly both dead of hypothermia.
Who are they? A couple of kids that died tonight.
Shots and nausea and vomiting
Here's where the writers fundamentally misunderstand the source material. The joy is always in the final turn. The dance around the bedpost in the last 10 minutes. Scrooge reborn as a new man. Here there's a sort of semi-turn halfway through, doing good deeds, but only to win back Bella, and still being a knob.
Now, that sick kiddie of yours, the one with the bad chest, Tom.
Tim, yes, cystic fibrosis.
Yeah, well, you tell him that Eddie Scrooge has given his dad a week off.
Right.
I'll make sure you tell all the nurses at the hospital that too.
He presents the single mum with a DVD player, and note again the perfect placement of the Raggy Dolls theme.
It's a present, you stupid loser!
He uses a classic Ted DiBiase move when refusing a payment, offers a sack of blood money to the grieving mother of a man he may have murdered, and gives a football and some boots to a lad with soon-to-be fatal cystic fibrosis. Incidentally, like that Busta Rhymes Knight Rider song where he's cruising to the sound of my enhanced CD-ROM, the 2000-era tech, CRT televisions and pocket calculators weirdly date this worse than the ones set in Victorian times.
You never know these days. I mean, scientists are always coming up with new things. Now they've discovered DVD. Well, disease could be a thing of the past.
Oh, hello. What are you doing here?
Oh, I've just been to see this sick kiddie I know.
All right.
Nice little callback gag here with Ted, seen earlier opening that boomerang. Although, hold on, he gets that on Christmas Day, so he won't have opened it yet. Another thing nicked from Groundhog Day is Kemp thinking he can fix everything if he can just save them homeless kids. Save them like only a hard man can.
Big issue? Another word. Get off here!
Boy, slow down! Leave us alone! Stay here. Get some help. You've got to stay here.
Fellas, this is a great way to get your ex to sleep with you again.
I need your help. There's a street kid. I think that she's gonna die.
Did you call an ambulance?
I thought it'd be quicker to get you.
But alas, it was left too late.
I'm not having this. You've got to do something. Well, come on, please.
And it's all his stupid fault.
What took the ambulance so long?
Ambulances won't come on the estate anymore without a police escort.
Well, don't say it like it's my fault.
Isn't it?
I wanted you to see that I changed.
Well, you haven't really changed at all then, have you?
I suppose at this point, with Kemp waking again to find Marley in his fridge, it's a good time to talk about the murder subplot.
Do you remember when you died?
Why are you so interested?
No reason. Your death. What would I know about your death?
The whole way through, it's seeded as a mystery, drip-feeding information here and there, and heavily suggesting Eddie Scrooge had something to do with it.
Perhaps your conscience won't let you celebrate the birth of our Saviour.
Nothing on my conscience, Mrs. Marley.
Not even the death of my son?
When Eddie finally breaks, we get the full story. That he sent a man named Ricky Stiles to put the frighteners on Marley, who was getting too successful on his patch.
I didn't know he was going to shoot you. I promise. I just thought he was going to shake you up a bit. I hate being me.
Having confessed his crimes, he decides to do a runner, but can't escape the final spirit. I do enjoy the sudden switch as he gets out of the car to a post-apocalyptic vibe, like the whole world will go to hell if Eddie keeps being mean.
I know you, don't I? You're off the estate, aren't you?
And gone to hell it has, this bleak future which may come to be.
Has Tim gone home?
Kind of, if his home's a coffin.
I've been to the cemetery. I found a smashing spot for Tim.
See? It's not all bad. Absolutely cracking line here though, with Ross Kemp stood watching.
Vicar was a lovely bloke. He's bald, but he's very nice with it.
Oh, my lad. My poor little lad.
Console yourself. I mean, yes, he's dead, but...
It's better than being bald, though, isn't it?
No comment.
The classic everyone picking through his shit when he dies scene.
I thought he'd never die.
I'm scared that they're flogging. Where's it from?
I love how no Scrooge ever realises it's them who died. Signed copy of Sid Little's autobiography, hard drives filled with old royal varieties, well-bad knob-ache medication. Whose stuff is this?
Bella.
And at the graveyard, it's the film's most Dickens dialogue.
Just tell me this. Are these the things that will happen? Or just the things that might happen? I know I've been useless. I know I've wasted my life.
It's here we get the money shot, one of cinema's great frames you could hang in a gallery.
No. No. Just tell me. Do I get a chance to put things right? Just tell me that! No!
A Christmas Carol has an odd kinship with revenge flicks like Last House on the Left and I Spit on Your Grave, where the audience ride out the protagonist's suffering for the inevitable moment a baddie's penis gets a 4-colour biro shoved up it. In Scrooge we see a bloke acting the misery arse for 90 minutes, knowing the worse he behaves, the more we'll enjoy the moment he sees the light. So much of its power lies in the catharsis of the eventual turn. But this is missing that release, or any real catalyst for change. In fact, right before he's pouring at his own grave, Eddie sees Bella and his nephew at the cemetery, and angrily assumes they must be sleeping together.
Is that what you wanted me to see, Bella and Dave? Is this some kind of torture?
There's no revelatory moment. No hard cut to Ross Kemp in his jammies, dancing a jig in sheer joy at being alive. No, boy, what day is it? I wish they'd really embraced that aspect, as he jolts awake for the millionth time into Christmas morning. Hold on, is it still? Even though he's now officially, properly changed, he still seems insincere.
As my own mum used to say, you know, it's no use having butter if you don't own a pound cake.
Did she really? What a wise woman.
Knowing Bob's better off out of his clutches, he sacks him.
But I do. You think I care? Then go on, get out of my sight. Well, go on!
Classic Scrooge. You boy, fetch me the biggest turkey in the shop, you little turd. He's now got a busy day of do-gooding, effectively abducting the homeless girl and dragging her to hospital.
Excuse me.
Yes?
She's got hypothermia and pneumonia.
And most importantly of all, stopping this from happening again.
Could you excuse me a minute? Hold on. Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you.
There's a big hamper for Liz Smith and her husband.
Merry Christmas, Eric.
And Bob's sacking doesn't matter, as the Cratchits have won the premium bonds.
£50,000. We got the letter, the cheque and everything this morning.
It's funny we won. We haven't got any premium bonds.
This morning, she says. Eddie only got up a couple of hours ago, but found the time to fake and send the letter himself, somehow having it be delivered during the post office's busiest day, and the cheque not be from Eddie Scrooge's personal NatWest account. Then he snitches on Ricky Stiles to his nephew, not mentioning it was him who put him up to it. Next Christmas he'll be visited by another ghost, Mad Frankie Fraser, leaving ectoplasm in his bed for being a grass.
He keeps the gun in the safe at the back of his club.
You're copping an accessory to murder charge for that at least.
I was just wondering if you'd come over for Christmas dinner.
I'd love to. I bloody will love to.
Before I get carted off to Nick, the script seems terrified of puncturing Kemp's tough nut aura, though the way he spills this toast everywhere, this is a man who's never held a pint in his life.
Merry Christmas.
The homeless adult brother and sister are alive, sharing a single hospital bed like those mucky sods from Brookside.
Oh, yeah. I was just lost. I thought this was a snooker hall. It's over. My old life. The old me. Gone.
And that's all it takes to win back Bella.
Did you bring any mistletoe?
Making amends to everyone he's wronged, he sends Ted off to the airport in a limo to see his daughter, breaks into the single mum's flat and fills it with Christmas, presumably also breaking into a shop to steal all the presents. Oh, and somehow finds the time to bust into Liz Smith's house too, to silently install 2 stair lifts in the night without waking anyone. Say what you will about the beefy bastard, he must be light on his feet. Now everyone's happy and everything's right. But there's one mystery left.
Let me get this right. The last ghost was someone you knew. A child.
I felt like I knew him. I don't know where from. It was more like I was going to know him.
Yeah, who was that ghost boy?
So, you sure it's on, son, yeah?
Yeah. How do we look? Like old farts.
Oi!
Oh my god!
Come on, I want you and your mum, yeah?
We'll have to.
Lovely!
There's my baby boy.
Eddie and Bella's future son. As they can't make him grey or balder, Ross Kemp's got glasses to denote that he's aged.
You want to make the trials?
Yeah. Smile.
It's all well and good me sat here sneering for views, but a Kempmas Carol attracted an audience of 9 million and is seemingly incredibly well remembered. For me, it's a lesson in sticking to the source material, and if you stray too far, it loses the magic. Take the 2019 BBC adaptation by Stephen Knight, all bleak and gritty, and focusing solely on Scrooge's relationship to the Cratchits. Having him force Mary Cratchit to strip naked in front of him for a loan of money for Tim's operation is an act so awful he can buy the biggest turkey in the world and no audience will want him redeemed. So too, the Kemp Scrooge weirdly didn't improve one of history's most beloved tales by mashing up Dickens, Groundhog Day and the terrible gangster stuff in EastEnders, nor by casting a pissed off human potato in the lead. As far as entertainingly bad TV goes, I can't recommend it enough, but in the pantheon of Christmas carols, would this even break my top 100?
The answer's no.